Welcome back to Private Sessions. That was Bon Jovi performing another smash hit song, It's My Life. Now, Bon Jovi recently had enormous success in country music. They won their first Grammy to date in the country collaboration category for their song, Who Says You Can't Go Home, with Jennifer Nettles of Sugarland. This was really cool because you guys have always had a little bit of a Southern twang in all of your songs, really, or a lot of your songs, even from back in the 80s. So this was really like diving into country music. How was it working with Jennifer Nettles and that
She
whole
was fabulous, but she was unknown at the time.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, this was before their first record. And we wrote the song, and the conversation that we'd had at the kitchen table that they write in the song was that we knew that there was a common thread in a lot of our stories and what was happening in pop country music. And we'd heard many a story about this band covered this song of yours, this one does this song of yours. And we had thought at that juncture that we could get some covers of our existing catalog in Nashville. And so we wrote the song, and by accident stumbled into Keith Urban, you know, in her gym in Los Angeles in the hotel. And we had a mutual friend and producer, John Shanks, who does our records. And so I'm yapping with him, and I invited him to the studio. Unbeknownst to him, I had an ulterior motive,
Of course.
you know, and
Of course.
and he
Country
came with
duet.
with Dan Huff, and they came to the studio, and I said, you know, here's a little banjo. Why don't you go in there and play it? And he did. And I said, why don't you sing a verse? And he did. You know, we knew that it wasn't the right collaboration because our voices sounded similar, and you know, banjo was just picking an instrument out of the rack of stuff, and neither of us could play it. But anyhow, went back to the record company and said, we got an idea, but you're gonna have to come tell us about somebody whose voice will make it work. And Luke Lewis from Lost Highway said, well, I've got a girl, and I said, as long as I like her voice, as long as I think the musical styles fit, and of course she has to like our song and interpret it properly. He said, trust me. And Dan Huff, that producer who was there with Keith, did her vocal, called me on the phone and says, oh yeah, trust me, you don't have to come down here, it's done. It's
Done.
great.
That's great.
And it was, you know, first rock band ever #1 at country.
Yeah, you said that so quietly. That's never been achieved before, a rock band hitting #1 on the country Billboard charts. That must have been pretty cool.
Ever, yeah. And it was like #1 for 2 weeks, too.
Yeah, what did you think when you heard it was #1 on the country charts?
We're pleased, you know, very pleased, humbled by it all because there's so many great writers in Nashville, but also because they allowed you in.
When we come back, much more from Bon Jovi, including one of their highly anticipated new songs, What Do You Got? Don't go away. Welcome back to Private Sessions. My guests are John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora of Bon Jovi. Now, before we go any further, a fan and a fellow artist heard you were going to be on the show. They've done this show as well, and they just had to ask a question. Take a look.
Hey Lynn, hey John, hey Richie, how you doing?
Hey,
Pat,
guys from
Jimmy,
Train.
and Scott, dudes from Train. You know, I have a question for you that is probably for both of you guys, but John, I was told to ask you a little bit about the bleacher seats, these orange bleacher seats from like, I can't remember where they're from, maybe Nashville or something, but they meant a lot to you, and I know that you own some of them. What's that about?
That's a nice surprise. Hi, guys. It was Knoxville, not Nashville.
Okay.
But here's the story there. And the These Days tour, '95, we were in Europe, and we were playing the big, massive outdoor stadiums. And Van Halen was our opening act. And they don't go to Europe often, so the idea of their opening for somebody, and they hadn't done it in quite a long, long time, was really foreign to them. And that the audience wasn't there for them didn't make Al very happy. And I was having a conversation with him one day and was a huge fan and loved him to death. And Eddie was a neighbor of mine in Malibu and, you know, all that kind of fancy nonsense. And I was talking to Al, and I says, Al, just go out there and be great tonight. Just be great. And you'll come back here next summer, and you guys took the time to come here and establish some roots again. You'll headline these stadiums next year. Be great. I says, because, you know, you just never know. I says, do you know what color the seats are in Knoxville? And he says, no. What the hell are you talking about? Where's this tangent leading us? He says, they're orange. You know why I know that? Because because when I went there last time, there was no one in them. And it's really scary and ugly when there's nobody in those seats. So come over here and you're playing to 60, 70, 80,000 people a night with us. Go out there and win their hearts over. So he threw a drumstick at me and he went out to the place. But then I was in Malta a couple of years later, and I was doing U571, and I was in this rowboat for hours on end. Matthew McConaughey, Bill Paxton, and all these young sailor guys, actors playing these sailors. And it's raining, and the rain machines are out in the salt water, and the kids are complaining. And I says, guys, you shouldn't complain about this. You're in a major motion picture. I says, and then we're going on. And McConaughey says, how is it that you stay so humble? I says, do you know what color the seats are in Oxford, Tennessee?
I love
So that arena was torn down. And I was back at my house, and it's 2000, we're doing Crush. This huge wooden crate gets unloaded off of a truck, and I go, what the hell is this? And somebody ripped open this wooden crate, and there was a row of orange seats and a note from Matthew McConaughey saying,
Oh my God.
thanks for the lesson in humility. We'll never complain about anything going forward. And this is, 10 years ago. So I just spread that word around, just know what it's like when it ain't good out there.
Absolutely. What a great story. I love that. All right, I can't let you go. I have one more question. Well, actually two. I lied. First of all, you guys really have stayed very grounded after a lot of ups and downs, mainly ups. How have you managed to stay really so grounded like that? Is it because you're from New Jersey? Does that have anything to do with it?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. I mean, we're very close. We still enjoy each other's company. We really hang out a lot, and we come from the same place. We're cut from the same cloth. I think we think alike a lot. There's not a lot of disagreements between us, that's for sure. And you stay with the same guys for 27 years, and I think we don't look at ourselves as rock stars.
Just speaking of pop culture and things in New Jersey, just wanted to get your thoughts. Jersey-licious, Jersey Shore, and this is so off the normal Jersey Housewives. Do you watch? What do you think about it?
I haven't. Have you seen any of those? I've never.
Have you
watched
ever
them.
heard of
I'm
New Jersey?
aware of
Right.
the Jersey Shore cast, but the day that I sit down to waste 5 minutes of my life watching that,
But you don't love Snooki? I mean, come on.
you gotta go read a book, man. You gotta go do something before. No, I'm sorry. That's not my New Jersey.
I can hear everybody laughing in the control room right now.
That's
No,
not
I couldn't
my
agree
New
with you
Jersey.
more, but I just had to get your take because New Jersey is, you guys really are synonymous. I'd say, you guys, Bruce Springsteen, when you think of you think New Jersey. And I always wondered what people who kind of represent such a great state thought of those shows.
Jersey had a fight for a long time to not be the brunt of jokes and to not,
What exit?
all that kind of stuff that we
That went
got
down the
through,
toilet.
and then
That went right in the toilet.
Now
I
it's
know.
it's
It's sad they had to pick New Jersey, too, because, there's a group of kids like that in every state, not just New Jersey. So,
And they are actually from Staten Island. These kids that are on the
so they're
Jersey Shore.
imposters, really.
They're not even from New Jersey.
The heck?
They just show up at New Jersey. That's what I heard.
You guys, thanks for playing along with me. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with everything you're doing, the greatest hit CDs, your tourings, the ultimate collection, and come back and see us again.
Thanks, Lynn.
We
It was
will,
fun
thank
trying to
you.
fit you and your massive crew in here today, but we did it.
It's not as big as Richie's bathroom, but it'll do.
It'll do. Awesome. Once again, here is Bon Jovi with one of their highly anticipated new songs, What Do You Got?